Bo Sanchez once described himself as a preacher in blue jeans who thought that to love the poor, he must be poor. His attitude towards wealth has made a 180-degree turn, and today he invests and teaches the value of wealth, including his maid. So in this episode, we talk to Bo to dispel many of the myths surrounding money. I'm Edric Mendoza, and this is On the Money. Our guest today is Bo Sanchez, founder of the Truly Rich Club, among many other groups that inspire people to find their way in life. Hi, Bo.
Hi.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Of course, Bo is also a fellow homeschooler, so
That's right.
we share that in common. You know, many people are inspired by your story, so let's start off with your philosophy. What is your philosophy now about wealth, given that you had that previous mindset?
Yeah, my previous mindset was that if you want to love the poor, you should be poor.
Yeah.
And that was my life. When I was 14 years old, I lived in a slum area, did ministry work there, lived actually with the poor, you know, ate their food, talked their
wow.
Yeah, just laugh with their jokes.
Their
and
life,
and love them. And I had a wonderful time. We started a ministry for abandoned elderly people. I lived there for 3 years. But all those years as I was preaching to people, what changed was when I would preach, and then after preaching, people would come up to me and ask for prayer. And I noticed that 50% of the time it was about money. Kulang yung tuition ko. You know, my mom's in the hospital. I need money to bring her out, and you know, and what could I do? I didn't know anything about money. So just pray for them.
Yeah.
And then I realized that money is such an important thing. And I said, if I'm going to love the poor, I can't be poor. I mean, then we will be both poor.
Right.
So I need to be somewhere where I could lift them up. And that's where I made that decision. It was a turning point in my life when there was this mom. Can I tell this tiny story?
Yeah.
There's this mom and this daughter coming up to me, you know, Brother Bo, please pray for me. Tomorrow there's the deadline of the enrollment, and I don't have money, and can you pray for me? So I prayed for her. And then after that, you know, she said, thank you so much. And I said, how much do you need? I mean, out of curiosity.
Sure.
She said, $700.
Wow.
I said, that's so small. And she said, oh, because it's a monthly installment thing. This happened many years ago. Monthly installment, that's all I could afford. You know, when I heard $700, I said, my gosh, you know, pray over pa tayo. I wanted to pull out my money and say 700, here it is. But I couldn't, because I had 20 pesos in my wallet.
At that time,
that was my life. And I was proud of that, you know. I'm a poor missionary. That was who I was. I'm St. Francis of Assisi, you know, a disciple. And anyway, so I said, that's all. I said, I'll just pray for you. And then she turned around. She was very thankful that I prayed for her, got the hand of her daughter, and then she walked ever so slowly out of that room. Like she walked so slowly. I said, go. But of course, she was walking slowly because she was waiting for you-know-who to give something. But
hopefully get some money together with the prayer,
How could I say, here's 20 pesos, you have 680 left, you know?
If you were to give one warning, maybe amongst others, to every Filipino about how we use money currently in your experience, what would that be?
You know, people are either hunters or ranchers.
Okay, I like this. Okay, hunters or ranchers.
Yeah, and Filipinos, many of them are hunters. They just, when the cave is empty, when there's no food in the cabinet or drawer, they go out and they hunt. They hunt for a wild boar, and then they bring it home. They've got meat for a few days, but they have to eat quickly because it spoils.
Right.
And then they
hunt again.
They hunt again, instead of being a rancher. The difference between a hunter and a rancher is that a hunter consumes whatever he captures. A hunter does not. He lets some animals live to breed. And
it's more sustainable that way.
And that's my invitation. I created the Truly Rich Club. It teaches people how to become a rancher, how to invest, how to know where to invest. And we have a battle cry.
Sure.
In the Truly Rich Club, the battle cry is helping good people become rich.
In your own life, let's talk about how you now invest money after all these learnings. Is there a strategy that you follow?
Yeah. I started with the 10, 20, 70 rule.
10, 20, 70.
So 10% I give to God. That's my tithe. 20% I set aside and I invested. And then I lived on the 70%. That's how I started. And I tell everybody to do that. It's so simple. But the key is the moment you receive any kind of salary, any kind of allowance, any kind of commission or profit, that's the first thing you do. 10% to God, 20% for your future, and then live. You don't say, okay, I'll spend, and then...
Excellent. So, but for the general person, basically, if a person's starting out and they're saying, you know, Bo, I don't have that money. I don't really have a lot to save because I've been just spending.
Absolutely.
What can they start off with? Are you saying as long as you start with an incremental amount and you're able to set aside, you can start building your way from there?
You could, but I will really challenge people. You know, sometimes
Make it your goal.
yeah, make it your goal and challenge people. Sometimes to overhaul a system, you can't do it piece by piece. You can't do it slowly. Sometimes you need to wallop it. You need to shock your system. You know, systems make you successful and systems make you fail. There's no such thing as systemless person.
Right.
Even in the mess and the chaos of life, you're following a system. We live by autopilot. You know, we go by unthinking habits. And so I tell people, it's your habit to spend everything. So shock your system and say, no,
Force yourself, yeah.
I'll give 10% to God. I'll save 20%, and then I'm gonna grit my teeth, and I'm gonna, you know, say,
find a way to make
70%. I'm gonna live on 70%.
All right.
Yeah.
So shock your system first. So that was your original setup, and now that you are who you are now, tell me about the ratios you're looking at and investments in general. Are you more long-term? Are you more risk-averse or risk-hungry, if you will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to make a confession that my favorite investment is the stock market.
Okay.
And
Why?
Why? I find it amazing how you can partner with gigantic companies and be a partner with the Taipans and the great entrepreneurs of the Philippines. You can't go to Henry C. and say, hey, sir,
make me a partner, right?
Make me a partner, you know?
Yeah.
You can't do that, but in the stock market you can. And so I'm a businessman, and I do have small businesses, and it's great, and I love business. But I also love the fact that I can be a partner with these gigantic businesses. So that's my view of the stock market.
So you're primarily invested in stocks, but do you also have conservative investment assets, or for example, fixed income assets, things like that?
Right now, no.
No, mainly.
No.
Okay.
Mainly the stock market because of my age.
Yeah.
I think a time will come. You know, when I'm 60 years old,
I'll start shifting.
I'll start shifting some part. You know, when I'm 65, much more. When I'm 70, much more. But right now, I'm okay with my long-term stock market.
Now, since you said you love the stock market, one of the interesting pieces of trivia we found out is that your maid apparently also invests in the stock market based on your advice. So are you saying that this investment strategy can be done by every Pinoy?
With some guidance, yes.
Okay. So how so? Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, thereabouts, I would pray with my maids and my driver. You know, the 3 maids, 1 driver. Let's pray together. We share about life.
Right.
We share about their love life. Dr. Love. Every time we pray, advice about their
with
boyfriends.
your wife, of course, right?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
And
Doctor and Doctora. Yeah.
I'm the family counselor of my driver who's married. He's got 4 kids, so we talk about his family life. But then somewhere along the way, we talk about their finances. And I would get frustrated. No matter how much increase I give their salaries, it would always run out because they give a big chunk back home. And so I taught them, you know, do this, you know, you tithe, you give 10% every time we go to the feast, our prayer meeting, and then you have an emergency fund. The problem with them is that they do have savings, except that, and they send every month, okay?
Yeah.
But they do have savings, 1,000 this month, next month another 1,000, but on the 3rd month, they get a text message from their family member.
And then?
Your mother is sick, the cow is sick, the roof is leaking, we need help, you know, rescue us. So they send whatever savings, and then they tell me, Kuya, parang naamoy na nila. Yeah. Naamoy nila, may pera kami. So I tell them, okay, what you do, tithing, number 2, emergency fund. Because you know every 3 months they're going to ask anyway. Might as well save for that. And then have a retirement fund. And your emancipation fund, your freedom fund, whatever you want to call it, you know, where you set aside, and then I'll teach you how to invest in the stock market.
Right, that becomes part of the fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
They at that time they were earning 7,000 a month. That's what I was giving them. You know, give 700 to God, you know, and then let's put 2,000 pesos every month into the stock market, and bingo. That's today. One of my maids, who I promoted to bookkeeper. That's another story.
Wow, yeah, that would be an interesting story altogether. Yeah.
She has now 512,000 pesos in the stock market.
Wow.
I've got
I've got
hundreds of employees.
500,000 pesos, right? Wow.
I've got hundreds of employees, more than 100 employees in my ministries and in my businesses, and 90% of them are investing in the stock market. Janitor, messengers, managers, everyone.
So here's my final question before we go to the viewer questions. So they're all invested in the stock market. The market's on a bull run right now.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the average investor now? I mean, do you keep them putting money in or to hold until the correct? What is your outlook?
Because my strategy is not trading but investing. And so the market, the performance of the market, the ups and the downs of the market, we're not really looking at that. We're looking at what
Value.
a great company this is. And this is for the long term. We're always long term. So even if we know that, hey, this is a bull run, but any bull will become a bear one day.
Right.
But for us, we'll just every single month, the 20% from our salary, just put every single month, and then I just give some guidelines. I give them a buy below price, to the Truly Rich Club.
Sure.
I give them a target price, and the moment it hits the buy below price, we don't buy anymore. The moment it hits the target price, we sell. We look for another cheap stock, but that's our approach.
Excellent. I want to ask so much more, but we're constrained for time now, and we're going to have viewer questions in a bit. So we just have to pause for a short break right now. Stay tuned. On the Money, we'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Money. Let's check what Salve Duplito has for us in Salve Says.
Once a week, I'll be answering your burning questions on personal finance. And our question today comes from Angie. Dear Salve, I'm 27, single from Davao. I was working in the BPO industry for 5 years. I tried my luck working overseas for a year and ended up staying in my hometown, Davao, starting a small business and having an online job. I just started investing in variable insurance and I continued my SSS and Pag-ibig funds, and I'm active in one cooperative. I would like to ask for your advice. My online job is not very stable because anytime the client can pull out. I am worried that I would not be able to sustain my payments. Do you think it would be safer for me to save first and find a more stable job? I'm trying to follow your advice based on your show to save at least 30% of my income. It's a good thing because I'm living with my parents now and everything is almost free. Every Filipino dreams of being rich, but only 1 out of 10 act on those dreams. And at 27 years old, you are very financially aware, where everybody else feels they're young, wild, and free. Having said that, there's still a lot of things to be done about your situation. Congratulations that you're able to save 30% of your current income. But I'd like to challenge you, Angie, to bring this up to 50%. After all, you're still living with your parents with very little expense on your part. So you can sacrifice more to bring your investment level higher. About your SSS and Pag-ibig funds, continue to contribute. The government currently is trying to improve its benefits for its members, and you should take advantage of that. But you have to rethink your variable universal life policy. You don't have beneficiaries at this point. You're single, so you don't need insurance. What you need to do is to invest more. Before you invest, set up an emergency fund that's up to 3 months of your monthly expenses. And then the rest of your money should go to a UITF, that's a Unit Investment Trust Fund, or a mutual fund. As you go through the process of investing, you can then graduate to other kinds of investments, but start with these things first. Good luck, Angie. I hope you have a great time on your road to financial independence.
Still with us is Bo Sanchez, founder of the Truly Rich Club, among many other groups that inspire people to find their way in life. And of course, Melissa Herculeo with your money questions. Hi, Mel.
Hi, Edric. Hello, Bo.
Hello.
Your story is so interesting.
Isn't
I
it?
love
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. And it's true. Money is not evil. It all depends on how you use it.
Absolutely.
Agree.
I believe that the ultimate purpose of money is to love people. That's it.
Yes. Okay, now
Well
we
said,
have
Bo.
so many questions for
Yeah.
you today. The first one comes from Lev Mateo, who says, how much is the operational cost for all of your nonprofit organizations? And how can you support that kind of amount?
Millions. I don't know the exact figure, but we have orphanages. We have We have a scholarship fund for poor kids. We're sending hundreds of kids from college to grade school to seminarians. We have a ministry for a center for pregnant women in crisis. We've got, you know, all sorts of things. We've got the TV ministry, the radio ministry, and all of that. And I don't know, gosh, can't put a figure.
Right.
70, 80, I don't know, 100 million, I'm not sure.
Right.
Wow.
Every year. And it's all supported by donors.
Donors.
Okay, now our next question comes from Christian Santos via Facebook, who says, with all the success that you are experiencing right now, are there other things that you would like to do aside from the financial and spiritual aspect of your life?
I'm very involved in ministry, very involved in serving God and building communities. In fact, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a financial teacher on the side.
Okay.
My main thing is just helping people in their spiritual life and building communities among them. So that's my main thing. And I plan to retire one day, so maybe
Doesn't seem like it.
I
At the pace you're going, right?
I don't think you'll ever retire from spiritual guidance and
from helping people, yeah.
I'll keep on preaching, I'll keep on writing, but like in terms of
Functionally.
As the overall leader of my organization, I want to step down and then do more work for the poor, do more, maybe without the position, without the title. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Would you ever go into politics?
Never.
Okay.
For the record, we have that.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So Christian, he's not headed in that direction, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Floy Wikoko asks, how effective is technical analysis if you consider buying companies because of its fundamentals and high fair value?
Well, I must be honest, I don't look at technical analysis because I'm a long-term investor.
Okay.
You know, it was Peter Lynch who said that there is no correlation between the company profits and the stock price, you know, on the short term, but there's 100% correlation between company profits and stock price in the long term. So I'm a long-term investor, so I don't look at the ups and the downs and whether there's going to be a cliff or whether. What I do is I just invest. If it's a good value, you know, I look with a buy below price. I just keep on buying, you know. Anyway, 10 years from now, technical analysis will not mean anything.
In and out, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Quickly, yeah.
I stay for a long time, so.
How long is long when you stay?
Well, sometimes to be honest, now is pretty tough because it's a bull run. So there are times I stay for 2 months only, 1 month only. But usually, like some of the stuff before this bull run came, I would stay for a year.
Okay.
Not 10 years, not like
yes, not
right?
like some people who
Yeah,
say 10 to
opinions,
20
yeah.
years, some
So about
say
a
5.
year, right.
But my key is whenever I sell, I buy right away. I don't withdraw the money from the stock market.
see.
I switch.
I see.
Great. Now, Stanley emailed us and says, I heard that there's already a glut in the real estate market. A friend has not been able to sell her condo for several months now. What is your opinion on this, and what is the best way to avoid disaster in the real estate industry?
Wow. You know, I'm not an expert in the real estate thing. And although some years ago we used to buy foreclosed properties, I tried my hand in that, and it did well.
Right.
It did well. I caught that time when the real estate was really down, and we were buying it at very low prices, and we were able to flip it, and that was a good deal. But right now, you're right. The real estate market is very high, very expensive now, and how long this will last, I do not know. But they're saying, you know, maybe a year, maybe a couple of years, and then after that, hopefully the prices will go down. So,
So are you saying you have a preference then for stocks over real estate?
yes, right now, yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is that? I mean, aside from the fact that real estate is expensive right now, why would you choose investing in the stock market? Over?
It's more liquid, and the skill level is not, you know, from like what I was doing before, going to a bank, looking at their foreclosed properties, visiting the property, you know, finding out whether I can flip it, doing a research, how much can I rent this out? It's time consuming, and some people are passionate for that. And if that's your gift, then go
for it.
Go for it. I found my calling and my gifting in something more simple. It's looking at the stock market.
Yeah.
You're looking at gigantic companies.
Yeah.
And there are 250 plus companies in the stock market.
Yeah.
I only
So
invest
big
in the
company.
giant ones.
Yeah.
You know, just very few of them. the giant ones. I don't look at the penny stocks. I don't look at the small stocks. I don't look at that at all. That's where you lose money. So it's much simpler.
Great. Now the next question comes from Christian Santos via Facebook, who says, many Filipinos work hard for long hours in order to give good financial support for their families. But the time spent with their loved ones is sacrificed. With your very busy schedule, how do you still manage to have time for your family?
It was Stephen Covey who said that you have to put the rocks in first. So you've got this big jar, then you put the rocks, and then after the rocks, you put the pebbles, and then the pebbles, you put the sand, and then after the sand, you put the water, then it's really full.
Okay.
If you put the water first, you can't put the rocks anymore. So the rock for me would be family life and family time. So I was telling Edric before the show.
I asked him this.
I would wake up every morning, spend time with God, and then I'll wait for my youngest son to wake up, and then we would walk around the village and just have father and son time every day. Just that for me is wonderful. And then I would work, and then, you know, anytime my son needs me, my answer is always yes.
Right.
But I've got the privilege of working at home.
Right.
But
you're
you know,
very
but
lucky.
there's lots of work. You know, I'm running 12 nonprofit organizations and 12 businesses. So that's 24 organizations that I'm running.
Yeah, that's not easy.
I'm preaching 300 times a year, and I'm writing 4 books a year and 80 articles, you know, every month. That's my output.
Yeah.
But anytime my son says, "Can we play, Daddy? Can we talk, Daddy? Can you read this book, Daddy?" My answer should always be yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, send us your money questions via email or through Facebook and Twitter, and we'll try to answer them in our upcoming episodes or on our next Q&A Friday.
Very inspiring. I like especially the idea that, you know, you can help the poor, not necessarily by being poor yourself. Thank you. Bo, inspiring story and tips. Mel, that's our show today. I'm Edric Mendoza. Join us again tomorrow for more talk and tips so you're always right on the money.